This book in my hand has sold over 30 million copies since its original publication in 1936. I'll say that again. 30 million copies. And for good reason too, because after reading, reflecting, and rereading the material, I can officially say that I want to read it again. I think in the personal development world, material gets too fluffed up. Authors try to meet word counts, they fill it up with stories, and maybe, if we're lucky, contain a handful of practical ideas. Well, this book is one of those rare exceptions that is dense with timeless principles. I mean, it was written in 1936, and yet, decades later, its material is still culturally relevant. Simple book, practical wisdom. Doesn't get much better than that, right? Wrong. It does get better. Because in this video, we're going to learn how to win friends and influence people, which, according to the author, Dale Carnegie, is the only book you need to lead you to success. In saying all that, the book is pretty much organized into 4 groups of principles. Now, before I share my analysis on these ideas, I need to put out a little disclaimer. The line between influence and manipulation is a thin one. From my perspective, it ultimately comes down to the intention behind the individual using the material. When dealing with subjects such as getting people to like you and winning people to your way of thinking, it's important to understand that the material can be misused. So for ethical reasons, let's draw a clear line. Influence is creating an environment in which ideas can be easily transferred. Manipulation is the act of attempting to coerce or force harm upon others for selfish or simply unethical reasons. Regardless, the difference comes down to intention. Leaders and manipulators both influence, but good leaders do so with the intention to better the other person. All that to say, the ideas within this book are designed to help foster better social situations, so use them appropriately. Just some food for thought. Now let's begin, starting with principle number 1. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. The author promotes seeking to understand others rather than immediately judging and disapproving. If we can't get along with people we don't like, then we cannot function as a collective society. And maybe this is more true for professional environments rather than personal environments, because I don't believe the author is saying be friends with everyone. But I think in the gray area between constant judgment and disapproval and trying to be friends with everyone lies the willingness to seek to understand everyone. This is what it means to be wise. Attempting to understand individuals puts you in an empathetic state, regardless of whether you like the person or not. And empathy is good for handling conflicts and even better for handling difficult people. So when in difficult situations in the workplace, just remember to try to understand before you criticize, condemn, or complain. As we will see throughout the remaining principles, words hold power, so use them wisely. Principle number 2 is to give honest and sincere appreciation. When explaining this, the author contrasted sincere appreciation and flattery. While flattery is complimenting another's strong points for ulterior motives, sincere, honest, genuine appreciation is complimenting their strong points for no motive, at least not a selfish one. While the two can be confused with one another, just remember, genuine authenticity is the difference between flattery and appreciation. What matters most here is honesty. The third principle that I took from the book was to arouse in another person an eager want. The author used business situations as case studies to analyze the effectiveness of this principle, but it simply means when sharing new ideas, there are times where it is okay to allow the opposing side or the opposing individual to believe that they originated the ideas themselves. Essentially, you're influencing people by letting them influence themselves. See, the ego can be a powerful thing, and without conscious intervention, it can consume us. So my take on this principle, instead of constantly fighting with large egos when they arise, sometimes it is wiser to align with them to seek a collective compromise. In professional scenarios, especially amongst teams, it doesn't always matter whose idea it was. What matters is the collective organization's productivity. Next principle is to become genuinely interested in other people. Emphasis on genuine. It's easier to interact with other people if you are genuinely interested in them. Authenticity always beats pretending. And here's why. Let's say you're pretending to be interested in someone. That can last how long? 3 months? A year? 3 years? And even if you can pretend that long, why? So don't pretend. Be yourself and seek people who you genuinely find interesting. Tell them. Ask questions. The energy will be pure and good things will follow. There's a common saying, you are the 5 people that you surround yourself with. I bring that up to say the goal is not to get everyone to like you. The goal is to attract quality relationships. You'd rather meet 100 people and have one person like you for who you are than surround yourself with 80 that force you to pretend and be something that you're not. Quality beats quantity. And I genuinely believe that is the point that the author is making. It is not about getting everyone to like you. It is about using these principles to sift through society and find the people who you can genuinely interact with, because it only takes a couple. And here's a little secret. From my experience, the best way to do this is to become the person who you are looking for in the first place. Quality attracts quality. The next principle might sound stupid, it might sound basic or elementary, but it's true. Remember to smile. If you take anything from this video, just remember to smile more. I can't remember where I read this, but there was a study that showed that smiling can alter your biochemistry and release some feel-good neurotransmitters such as dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins, which can reduce your stress, lower your blood pressure, and ultimately make you happier. I say this often, but the simplest things to understand are oftentimes the hardest things to implement. Smiling is a simple tool. Use it. Try to genuinely smile when you're out in public. Happy people tend to gravitate towards happy people. So if you want to meet, make friends with, do business with, or work with happy people, become a happy person. I know it's crazy how that works, but yet it works. The next principle that I took from the book is to remember that a person's name is to them the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Point is, a person's name is unique to them, so use it. If you want to build more relationships, start trying to remember names. I know, it's stupid simple, but not a lot of people do it, so be different. Is it really that crazy to believe that people feel more comfortable around others who know and use their names? I'll leave it at that. Try it when you're out at a restaurant, maybe in your next meeting. Simply use their name more and let the magic work. Next principle is to be a good listener. Encourage others to talk about themselves. In the book, Carnegie says, if you aspire to be a good conversationalist, be an attentive listener. To be interesting, be interested. Listening is the mark of a socially intelligent person. So you can see the theme here, right? The more you can become genuinely interested in other people, the easier it is to listen to the words that come out of their mouth because you're interested, thus making it 10 times easier and more effective to build quality relationships. That is the main takeaway from this book, right? That theme of genuine authenticity, attentive listening, selective conversations, all key factors of social intelligence. So I'll speed run through the remaining principles, but just keep that theme in mind because you'll see that they're all kind of touching on the same point, but just in different ways. Talk in terms of the other person's interests. I'll let the author explain this one. Remember that the people you are talking to are 100 times more interested in themselves and their wants and problems than they are in you and your problems. A person's toothache means more to that person than a famine in China that kills 1 million people. A boil on one's neck interests one more than 40 earthquakes in Africa. Think of that the next time you start a conversation. Lastly, in conversations, try to make the other person feel important and do so sincerely, or walk away from the conversation, right? You got to know how to influence yourself if you want to influence others. And from my experience, the best way to do that is to be genuine, to understand how to hold yourself and be yourself and use that as your kind of compass in social situations. So that's how to win friends and influence people in a nutshell. The rest of the book covers more principles and some leadership strategies. Given that these parts kind of overlap with the first half of the book, I chose to only select my personal favorites as bonuses to this analysis video. So here are the final 3 Dale Carnegie principles that I hope can deliver as much value to you as they have to me. The only way to get the best out of an argument is to avoid it. In essence, the point is you can't win an argument. It's a lose-lose scenario. And even if you are legitimately correct, by winning, you will hurt the other person's pride and thus leave them in a state of festering negativity in which they'll bring back to the next argument. So avoid them under all circumstances because, again, no one really wins an argument. Second principle is to show respect to other people's opinions. Never say you're wrong. Touches on the same point from before, but remember, the goal is not to be right. The goal is to handle the conflict. Wise individuals differentiate the two, while foolish individuals come out swinging without a plan. As in all things in life, respect is one of the greatest signs of character. So use it and watch your customer, personal, and professional relationships flourish as a byproduct. Last principle, I promise, and then we're done. If you are wrong, admit it quickly and admit it emphatically. A man or woman who acknowledges and learns from their mistakes is stronger for it. Humans make mistakes. Perfection is a standard that is often unobtainable. So lean into imperfection. Like the author says, if and when you are wrong, lean into it and take responsibility. Admit it quickly and do everything in your power to fix it. Or don't. Choice is up to you. But don't be surprised when people distance themselves as a consequence of your inability to take responsibility for your actions. That's it. That's my analysis on Dale Carnegie's timeless book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. If you're new to my channel, my name is Gino. This channel is designed to share quality ideas in hopes that it can better your life and propel you to a better future. So if you have a second, check out my description and subscribe if you are committed to conditioning your psychology for peak performance. I'll catch you in the next one.